Hello, and welcome to this section to learn about how to become New York State MWBE certified. My name is Jeong. I'm the Vice President and Deputy Director for the MWBE programs at Empire State Development Division of Minority and Women's Business Development. In this session, we'll discuss the benefits of becoming New York State MWBE certified. We will look closely at the division's next generation decentralized certification process. We will review various application types to get you started with your application. We'll discuss how to prepare a complete and accurate application package to satisfy the Article 15A requirements. Lastly, learn some of the best practices to avoid common pitfalls when submitting your application. Submitting a complete application and avoiding common mistakes helps your application to move through the review phases without incurring any unwanted and unnecessary delays. At the end of the presentation, I'll leave you with our customer care contact information so that at any point in your journey to becoming New York State MWBE certified, you need assistance or have any questions, you know how to reach the division. The division was created in 1988 as a result of adoption of Article 15A. Our mission is to promote equality of economic opportunities for MWBEs and to eliminate barriers to their participation in state contracts. To achieve this mission, the division focuses on three key objectives. We assist state agencies to award a portion of contracts to MWBEs. We assist certified MWBEs become even more successful by offering education and outreach opportunities. The division reviews applications by businesses seeking certification and maintains a directory of certified MWBEs. We'll go over the certification process in this presentation. Before discussing the certification process, let's review why the certification process is important and necessary. The New York State MWBE program was created as a result of Article 15A. This law established specific requirements for who is eligible to participate and what requirements they must meet. The certification process ensures that only bona fide minority and women-owned firms may participate in the program. Thus, the certification process deters fraud and abuse and allows the division to track participation by state agencies in awarding contracts. Businesses who want to become certified must demonstrate their eligibility by submitting an application with the division. What are the benefits of getting certified for the MWBEs? Why should one become a certified firm? After certification, your firm becomes listed in the New York State Directory of Certified MWBEs. This is your virtual business card and gives your firm visibility. Your firm gains access to tailored MWBE procurement and contract opportunities. Your firm also gains access to statewide network of support and services for MWBEs, such as invitation to business development, workshops, and events, MWBE training Tuesdays, webinars, customized technical assistance, and much more. These are indeed important resources which can help you differentiate your minority and women-owned business and gain competitiveness. To be certified with the New York State, it is important to understand the division's certification review process. This allows you to submit a complete application which can avoid unwanted delays in the process. The division recently implemented our new decentralized application review process. When you submit application, your application will go through 4 phases in the division's application review process. But before beginning your application, it is very important to remember that you must meet the criteria outlined by the Article 15A. To easily assess whether you meet the Article 15A eligibility, the division launched an online resource called the Certification Assessment Tool. This is a simple questionnaire consisting of a set of 12 questions specifically designed to help you determine whether you meet the criteria. If you do not meet the eligibility criteria based on this self-assessment, please reach out to the division's very responsive customer care team for further assistance. Once you have taken the self-assessment, the next step is for you to gather your required documents. In the next section, we'll review what some of these documents are. After submitting your application goes through phase 1, the application intake phase. At this phase, we look for completeness of the information we received. Then your application moves to phase 2, where we perform thorough analysis of your application and supporting documentation. In phase 3, our compliance team reviews for 15A eligibility and makes a determination recommendation and assigns appropriate industry codes. In phase 4, a notice of the determination is processed, and the applicant will soon after be able to see the determination on their New York State contract system account. Please remember, in the review of any application, one of the most important steps is the actual self-assessment step. If the division receives accurate and complete application package, our experience tells us that the determination can be arrived at more quickly. The important takeaway here is for prospect applicants to use the freely available resources, such as the online self-assessment tool and the division's customer care team, to submit the complete application. Please note, the self-assessment tool does not offer legal advice or guarantee certification. Are you ready to submit the application and take the important step forward in becoming New York State MWBE certified? The following will help you get started. For firms who have yet to be certified by the division, you are eligible to submit a new application for minority-owned, women-owned, or minority and woman-owned business. When submitting a new application, you can also opt in for the one-step addendum and select up to 3 New York State one-step addendum partner agencies to receive your application. What this means is that once you are certified by New York State, your application will be forwarded to up to 3 of these partners of your choosing. This service is a one-time courtesy for applicants that have never previously applied or are not currently under review for MWBE certification with any other partners or division. Next, if you have a certification from at least one of the 5 fast-track partner agencies, you are eligible to submit a new fast-track application with the state. The main benefit of the application type is that it reduces the number of types of documentation you need to submit with your application. Fast-track application type is also available to firms who are actively participating in the federal 8A business development program and the firms certified as a disadvantaged business enterprise by the DBE Unified Certification Program. Here's a chart depicting the streamlined application documentation process for each fast-track application type. Once you have determined the appropriate application type to submit, you'll need to gather your supporting documentation. Let's look at the documentation you will need to submit to meet the 15A criteria. We created this easy to remember chart to help you streamline the document gathering process. We call this the ABCs of certification. We'll go over each section in greater detail next. A stands for applicant. Does the applicant demonstrate the following? 51% ownership of the applicant business, personal net worth below $50 million, is a United States citizen or permanent resident, belongs to a minority group and/or is a woman. To demonstrate that you meet these criteria, the division looks at your certification affidavit, your personal net worth statement, complete personal tax return, among others. B is for the applicant business. Does the business have less than 300 employees and satisfy the small business requirement? The division looks at the complete business tax return, Forms W-2, 941, NYS-45, W-3, Certificate of Incorporation, bylaws, meeting minutes, proof of significant business presence in New York State, among others. Let's look at it one more time. Does the firm employ no more than 300 employees? Does the firm actively conduct business in New York State Does the firm contribute to the New York State economy? C is for control, operations, and contribution. The applicant must demonstrate control over their business. Has the applicant also made contribution equal to their ownership? Let's review these in greater detail. The applicant must demonstrate that they have made capital contribution in the form of money, property, equipment, or expertise proportionate to their ownership interest in the applicant business. It is important to remember that the contribution has to be proportionate to the ownership interest in the applicant business. The division looks at the documentation, which shows the value of the contribution made. The applicant must also demonstrate that they share in the risk and profits of the business in proportion to their ownership interest. The division looks at documentation for compensation received by the applicant, risks assumed through loans, leases, and reinvestment of ordinary business income back into the business. Needless to say, every business is different. Therefore, it is important to submit relevant documentation to the division. The applicant must show that they can independently operate the business. This can be demonstrated by having competence in the industry, devoting time to the business activity, having operational decision-making power. If the documentation shows that the applicant has little to no experience or does not have any knowledge of the key revenue-generating functions of the business, then even if the applicant holds the title of president or chief executive, they may fail to demonstrate that they can independently operate the business. To demonstrate control, the division looks at operating agreements, bylaws, signed business contracts, bank signature card, etc. To illustrate the example of control, operations, and contribution, I'll share a quick case study. XYZ Electric was denied New York State MWBE certification for failing to meet ownership and operations criteria. The owner, Kimberly, failed to show that she shared in risks and profits in proportion with her ownership interest, and that she has the experience, working knowledge, or ability needed to operate the firm. Kimberly received less income in 2020 compared to other employees of XYZ Electric. That year's tax documents show that her husband, James, was paid $200,000, while Kimberly was paid $100,000. Kimberly has a bachelor's degree in science and has previously worked as an office administrator. However, she does not have any formal training in electric work. James, a licensed master electrician with 20 plus years of experience, is the estimator and project manager at XYZ Electric. Denial happened on 2 points. One, Kimberly did not receive a benefit from the firm in proportion to her reported 51% ownership interest in the company. And second, Kimberly did not provide proof of her ability or training to evaluate work done by James. Once you have prepared your application with supporting documentation, you're ready to submit. But let's go over this one last time. The application intake phase is critical to successful review of your application. If the application is missing more than 3 documents or contain inconsistent information, the application will be returned. When the division returns the applicant may edit the application and correct any erroneous information. Mistakes and errors may add delays to your application review. Before submitting your application, let's go over some common mistakes which can be avoided. When submitting an application, please attach the correct documents for each section. Please sign and notarize where applicable. The personal net worth statement is required. It must be filled out and notarized. Please include the attachments A and B if applicable. Send us the complete tax return document, including all pages. When selecting codes, please submit documentation such as fully executed contract to show that the applicant business performs work in the industries. Please do this for all codes you're requesting. That concludes this presentation on becoming New York State MWBE certified. I hope you found this information helpful, and now you're more than ready to begin your journey. If along the way you find yourself needing any assistance with filling out the application or additional information about the program, please feel free to give us a call or email us. Our helpful, dedicated team of customer care representatives are ready to assist. Lastly, please don't forget to take the self-assessment as your first step toward becoming certified. Thank you, and we look forward to serving you soon.